Are you ready?
Yep.
3, 2, 1, go.
Hi, I'm Fish with Vanilla TV. Gonna quickly do a review of the map Gravel Pit. Gonna outline a couple of tactics you can use. The best thing to remember about Gravel Pit is, although I can give you some tactics, please find what's comfortable for your team. So a lot of people often complain about Gravel Pit actually being in the map hole, when I find it's obviously one of the most entertaining maps to watch, purely because it can go one way or the other. Slightly worse teams could beat slightly better teams on this map, just down to good team play. Gravel Pit is heavily team based, and you really can't have the traditional 5CP where you sometimes have someone jumping off and get a hero kill. So quickly going to run through the Gravel Pit attacking. So most people on Gravel Pit nowadays will defend B, so we'll assume that if you're attacking, they're defending B. If they were defending A, just send 2 scouts to go and cap B. So my first thing would be to send 2 scouts to cap A, checking around for sticky traps, checking around the area for sticky traps. Sometimes people leave a scout onto A just to try and get a cheeky little kill. So you're going to send 2 scouts to A to get the cap off. So while those 2 scouts are capping A, your medic's sitting around in spawn. He's having a lovely time back at spawn with his Uber charge ready. What I tend to do, or what we like to try and do, is just send our 2 soldiers and demo man. We might swap a soldier out for a sniper, or whatever he feels like playing at that occasion, sometimes a spy. And basically all you want for the first push is the 2 soldiers and demo man are going to want to jump out aggressively onto B and try to make the medic pop, because what this obviously gives you is an Uber charge advantage if you make them pop. Just be very careful that if you do make them pop, to actually move a lot quicker. When you're going to try and attack B, you might have to move without your scouts, just to make sure that you do get the use of that Uber advantage. I do see teams out there when they make the medic pop. The medic's popped, and by the time they pushed in, the medic actually has about 80% already ready to go. So obviously that's kind of the first push. Sometimes I may not suicide my team. I may just bring them all to A and have a little push from the A-B tunnel, have a push from C. So that's kind of the first push going down. A should be capped off relatively simple, 2 scouts capping that. So what you want to do when you're pushing B, a lot of teams down in the lower divisions, and including us, we run an SG at B. You won't really see the Prem teams run an SG because they're more comfortable with a map to run a scout and a sniper, or perhaps 2 scouts. But obviously the lower teams, they do like to run an SG because it's kind of a full safe method. It's a point to fall back to. It's something for the other team to use the Uber for. So that's the idea behind an SG, is basically to try and make the other team use the Uber for it. But obviously the dangers of running an SG is quite easily to spam from over there. It's quite easy to just kind of get spammed from there, and obviously it's quite easy for the demo man to get on the roof and take it down. So if you are facing an SG, you kind of want to get your demo man or your 2 soldiers to take that SG down without using the Uber where possible. So assuming that perhaps you can't do that, and perhaps they don't have an Uber, you just want to be a little bit quicker with things. So you might want to take 2 soldiers onto the roof and take your demo medic around this side, take out the SG from here, and hopefully the medic on this team, what he will do, he'll fall back to the rock. So you're kind of squeezing them into one place. As soon as that SG goes down, you need to bring your 2 scouts in to hunt them and try and get some kills off. Obviously the medic will tend to fall behind the rock. Just try and hunt them down, obviously get the medic kill off. If he's close to Uber, you need to focus that medic down. So assuming it's Uber versus Uber, you might want to take that SG out. You kind of need to break the team and try and break the staleness. So you might want to try and push from C, spam the SG down with 2 soldiers. Perhaps just move your demo man in from number 1. Your demo man in from 1, take out the SG, try and make the medic pop. It is quite you have to be a little bit patient with Gravel Pit B. You have to wait for the right opportunity, so a good med pick. And perhaps when you're pushing from C, a nice tactic to use is to get the sniper in a rock, because you're taking all the distraction up at C. A lot of teams kind of leave the rock uncovered, so you can bring a sniper into the rock area and get a snipe down onto the medic. Perhaps he drops his Uber. So the best thing to remember is, so say you're still pushing B and time's kind of not on your side, the best thing you can do is a medic takes 40 seconds to charge his Uber. You can still send the rest of your team in while they build with one soldier and a medic, just to try and break the game into your favour. So getting the medic to pop is pretty much all you want to do, because then you've got an Uber against a non-Uber and you can push in on that. So assuming that you've kind of wiped the team out now, you've got in a good position, you want to get 2 scouts times 4 onto this point, and then you want to hold the forward entrances. So holding the forward entrances means a demo man will probably stay here and 2 soldiers will stay here, or 1 soldier there, 1 soldier with there with the demo. And you want to hold the entrances and stop the team coming back into B. So your scouts are capping and the other team can't come back into B, and that's pretty much B taken down. Last bit of advice around attacking B is just make sure you get a bit of roof presence. It's nice to get someone up on that roof to spam down. It's really hard as a medic to keep dancing with the soldiers on the roof. There's a fear of the sniper in that sort of entrance, so as a medic it makes the lines that you can run a little bit more difficult. So the roof is quite a nice area to get up onto. That pretty much is it for sort of pushing B. So pushing C, in an ideal world when you cap B you've got an Uber advantage to push C with. That's usually, if it can go sort of that kind of way, it's quite nice. So if you want to push C with an Uber advantage, it's just a case of getting your team up onto that point and just trying to move everything up there. Just make the first attacker a little bit messy. You know, don't be afraid just to put stuff up onto the point, just run things up onto there. Perhaps try and pick off the medic, but all you want to do is just get that capped as quick as possible. But say that it is getting a bit stale and you're trying to push C and they've got a nice defense. Another nice use is crits. So perhaps coming from A you can use crits. You can jump 2 soldiers up onto the point from anywhere, crits a demo man from this entrance up onto the point, lay a few crit stickies, fire some over at the medic wherever he might be standing. A sniper's quite nice for C, and also a pyro. I found in the past a pyro can be quite handy, so how I would use a pyro is with an Uber. So kind of running from 4, you want to get your 2 soldiers demo man popped out of this up onto the point, and then you want to run your pyro up with the medic. Just run the pyro up the tower and just air blast people off the top. That can be quite handy. When it comes down to attacking, that's kind of all I've got. It's a case of you develop your own tactics for attacking, because each team may run a slightly different defense. It's hard to say that there's only one good way to attack. It's just about attacking as a team, trying to get yourself an advantage, a good advantage, perhaps a demo man pick or a medic down, Uber advantage, things like that. So going to quickly run over some defense. Not going to go into great detail. I don't want to give out loads of defenses and confuse the issue. As a preference, I don't defend A, but you can defend A if you want. There is an A defense which involves kind of an SG on top of there, a soldier up onto here, the other soldier up onto there. Demo man can float around here with a soldier, and then you kind of just have to have a scout tucked behind the medic to make sure he's safe, so scout can spot from behind. Like I said, I don't really tend to use an A defense, purely because I'm more comfortable with B, so A is more of a cap. So on the first time when the enemy spawn, you might want to send your demo man to A to get a couple of stickies into that area, maybe pick off a cheeky kill. But the key, if your demo man's going to do that, you can't afford your demo man to die, so he needs to know when to fall back, because if he was to die at the A defense, it gives the enemy an opportunity to push on you quite early. So quickly running through a B defense, assuming that you're running an SG, the SG kind of covers this area just here. Just to make it clear on what I call things, shadow is this side of the house, you've got your roof up there, this is the front of the point, that is the rock, this is the sun, you've got the short here, BA tunnel, and the long just here, and that's the kind of the entrances. Then you've got C, and for C we use 1 and 2 just there, so that's entrance 1, that's entrance 2. So assuming you're running an SG, at the first, just as the doors open, you're going to want to have 2 soldiers up into this point here, just spamming back, making sure they don't get out for free. Don't be greedy, move back quite early when you have to. You don't want to be greedy and let them get out onto your medic. Have 1 soldier up onto the hut, the other soldier on the roof watching the long entrance. You can heal the soldier from underneath here, then pull back to the SG. And the tip here as a medic is just kind of have a dispenser here and be standing in this general area, buffing your soldiers onto the roof, and move your team around to best spot where they're coming. So as we do run a scout purely to spot, and that scout tends to spot a C because C's a way that people like to push. So the scout will be spotting a C like this, and if he said they're doing a C push, what we would do is we'd move the demo man up to here, and the soldier up to here with the medic just standing on the catwalk between, quite protected from snipers. Sniper can't hit me from there. Our scout would then revert to go onto the roof with the engineer there, so kind of just covering the other entrances while they try to do a C attack. And all you want to do then is just make them Uber, waste their Uber through the door, try not to take the SG out. But remember, the SG is disposable, it can be rebuilt, you can swap your engineer out to a scout anytime, and it's just about being quite smart at B. Making sure that if they're going to come in from C and say that you don't have an Uber, as a medic you're going to want them to take down the SG and kind of move back to the rock and just stay in this area as long as possible, trying to get an Uber up. And it's just about being very tight, so moving around to best repel the team. So you've got kind of players that can move around, your medic and soldiers can move around, your demo can move around. Demo man will tend to watch the long area, the other soldier watches the short area when they're trying to push in just from the spawn door. Otherwise they would move up to C and just move your defense around wherever they're going to come from. My next tip and my last tip about defending B is kind of when it's lost, give it up unless you've got a full Uber advantage, or unless you've got a good Uber advantage to go back in. So say that B is 25% capped and you've got an Uber and they don't, and you know they've popped. That's a good place to push in on. You'll have to have a few numbers, you can't just have two people. So have a good numbers, use the Uber, get out, dominate the roof a little bit, come back in onto them, wipe out the team, get some kills and then rebuild on B. But say that B is 75% capped, you've got an Uber, they've got an Uber, I wouldn't contest B any longer. Because what could happen is you could lose your defensive B and then you could lose C quite quickly afterwards because you've overcommitted to it. So you need to be very careful about when you want to give up B. You know, 25% Uber advantage is good, 50% Uber advantage is still good to defend, 75% nearly capped is getting a bit more tighter. If it's Uber versus Uber, then the other team are probably just going to repel you with the Uber at this door. They're probably just going to Uber back at you and force you off. So quickly to thinking about defending C. If you're facing the first C defense and they've got an Uber and you haven't, most teams are going to push from 1 and 2. Just to make it clear, for C the entrance is 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 underneath. It makes it much easier to understand. If you're saying there's a sniper from 3, then people should understand where the sniper is. So first Uber coming in will probably come from 1 and 2. As a medic you're going to want to stand with a heavy up on the points. You can buffer from underneath here. 2 soldiers and demo man not too far away so they can jump up and defend. Hopefully the Uber is not too far off, so you can jump up and get at them. Then it's about repelling that first push, then setting up a nice defense. Not going to give too much on a C defense. Do grab some STVs of different teams. People have different ways of defending C. It's just about being very strong as a team and making sure you've got cover on every entrance. So making sure that you've got something watching every entrance. What you don't want to do is group up onto the tower, because if you have your medic up onto the tower, he's very vulnerable of dying. As a medic, I like to, if I'm going to sort of be on the tower, I like to be generally in this sort of area so I can see it for if there's a sniper. I can't be hit from 1 and 2. If you start to move into this area, a sniper will hit you. So you want to have a soldier kind of poking into 3, making sure that 3 is covered and your medic can't get sniped. You want to kind of have a defense on every door, just making sure that your team move around again. So it's a tip of, I've spotted the majority of their team at 2, then you want to go and move your team rounds to better defend that area there. So that's what it all, I mean, Gravel Pit's all about time on the board. It's not about holding on to C for the whole round. It is just about buying yourself time. And remember, each time you repel an Uber, you put 40 seconds onto your defense, which is really nice. So just keep thinking about that, and that's how I like to call this map, is just to encourage, you know, every Uber that's gone is another 40 seconds that they've wasted. Just be very careful of spy and very careful of crits. So you want to dot yourself around a little bit so crits can't take you all out at once. Do grab some STVs. There's some top teams out there for their defenses on C. Don't really want to give out too much about C, purely because I like people to experiment with their own defense. I like them to find their own way to defend different points to see. I like them to sort of experiment and find what works. The more you play Gravel Pit, the better you're going to be at it. You get more experience. Not enough teams play it in a PCW. They only play it in their officials, and that's why they don't get any better at it. You do need to play a little bit of Gravel Pit and officials. Perfect your defense. Really perfect whatever you're doing with your attacking. That pretty much concludes my Gravel Pit. If I do get any questions that come in on Gravel Pit, I might do a second video around Gravel Pit, because maybe I haven't given enough information, maybe I've given a little bit too much, but that pretty much does conclude it. I've been Fish with Vanilla TV. Please remember that you can get your demos sent in to me and Brainmaster for review. You'll find both of us on #Vanilla TV. Obviously done a few demo reviews and we've got a few more to come, but really encouraged by the amount of people that are sending me demos my way. So please do continue to send your demos. Just chat to me or Brainmaster and #Vanilla TV. I've been Fish. It's been Brain on the Stream.